Dímelo, mi gente. What's up? And welcome back to another live interview here on Gonzalez Media TV on Millions. I'm Jose G. Make sure you give me that follow on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok at Jose G Official, and subscribe to the channel at Gonzalez Media TV. And we got a returning guest joining us here on Gonzalez Media TV, the only stuntman in the world that I know personally. We got Kasper Jorgensen out of the Made Fight League joining us again today ahead of their big event this weekend on June 27th, New World Order, live on pay-per-view here on the Millions app. What's going on, Kasper? How you doing today, Papa?
I am great. I'm so excited about Friday. It's going to be really good.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to talk to you about it. Before we get started, man, Kasper, where can people follow you on social so they can follow everything that's going on with the MFL and everything that you're doing in Hollywood, man?
Well, they can follow me on Instagram, Kasper Jorgensen 702, or TSC Fit USA, all on Instagram.
There you go. Well, Casper, man, I'm so glad I get to talk to you again. I felt the last time we talked, it felt a little bit short, and I said we got to save it for a part two, and here we are. Part two is here. We got the Made Fight League, man. I'm super, very, very intrigued on the whole concept. We talked about it a little bit last time, and for you guys that don't know, my Made Fight League is a brand new promotion. That it's where the fighters actually get paid and the viewers have control on who gets to fight who. It's a very interesting concept. And they got a huge event that's going to be live on pay per view this weekend, New World Order. You got an array of fighters that are going to be on that card. Casper, talk to us about New World Order this Friday, man.
Well, we got a great venue, and the fighters are ready. They've been working on their conditioning since there is only one round of 10 minutes. So it's very different from what everybody else has been doing when it comes to round wise, that you're pretty much going to give it for 10 minutes straight. And if you go those 10 minutes, the fans are gonna vote for who won the fight. There's no judges. There's only a referee to make sure everything stays legit and it stays good and clean. But after that, it's up to the fans who wins the fight.
It's the American Idol of MMA. I love it.
100, yeah,
It's a wild, wild concept. Now, there's been some controversy recently with the MFL, and it was all over social media, where the state of Nevada put an injunction on the event coming up on the 27th. And you were telling me right before we went live that there's been some development on that. But talk to us about what happened there, man, because there's a lot of hype and a lot of the fans seem to be a little bit upset about what happened there.
yeah. We were in a meeting with all the athletes, the cast and crew, and all that on an online meeting. And Trap pulls out this letter he got served that morning from the commission from state Nevada. He doesn't know who had filed the complaint yet, but he's going to find out because it might be cool to find out who had a problem with us in the first place.
Right.
So he called the commission. He talked to I think it was the vice president of the commission, and he pretty much told him what we were doing, what we were trying to do, and the vice president said, "Hey, I'll be there on Friday, the 27th, to see what you guys are doing, and chances are they're going to approve everything from there on."
Yeah, and the response from the MFL, and this is all on social media, so I'm not like breaking any rules or anything here. But the caption says the state of Nevada, the Nevada State Athletic Commission served us a formal notice regarding the June 27th event. How did we handle this? You can read down. We gave the commissioner a free VIP seat. They'll be seating in our private shoot front row, total transparency, full access. And then they add, let's be clear, this is a private event, invite only filming, no audience, no tickets, no claims of being a sanctioned fight promotion. Our roster gets paid, gets monthly paid based on league revenue, not a purse per match. What happens in the ring is real, but it's filmed for entertainment, not regulated under any traditional combat rules. And I think that it's important that you distinguish what's entertainment and what's not, right? Kind
Yeah,
of like pro
yeah,
wrestling, right? We know
yeah,
that pro wrestling is a form of combat sport, but it's also entertainment, and it's under, over here they have filming studios and things like that. So I think it was important that the management company or whoever was in charge of the social media made that distinction.
yeah. It's definitely it's partial a really reality show. We have a lot of film crew that's going to be there. We opened up for press that you can get a press badge to come in and film for whatever magazine or whatever you're working for. And we're going to start off with the event itself, but then the rest of the night we're going to spend a lot of making footage, filming, and there's going to be an introduction for all crew, all athletes. Everybody's going to get introduced for the MFL. So it's going to be a really nice event. I know Trav was excited about the smoke machine, and he was like, "Dude, I can't wait to see this. Put the smoke on." You know. So yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be our first event. I know everybody's excited, and how exactly it's going to happen, we don't really know until we get there.
Exactly.
Because behind the scenes, I have no idea what's going on. All I know I'm there is to make sure everybody stays safe and everybody's cool.
Now, is the
We
plan is the plan for MFL to have recurring fighters on the roster, or are you guys planning on like recycling or using different ones every event?
so right now the roster is it got a lot smaller than it was in the beginning. There was a lot of people that fell off because some of the fighters were like, "Hey, I'm not gonna fight a guy that's 20 pounds heavier than me," and that's kind of against the concept. If the fans say Joe and Bobby's gonna fight, then Joe and Bobby's gonna fight. You know what I mean? And then Bobby came out and said, "Hey, man, weight wise, I'm not gonna be able to do it." And Trap had to step in and say, "Hey, dude, you signed a contract. You're willing to fight regardless." You know. So some of them fell off, but the people that are there now are solid and they're ready to go.
And I've been seeing some of the vignettes and some of the social media posts of kind of like introducing all the different fighters, kind of getting a little profile on all of them. And I love how it's shot. It's almost kind of pro wrestling because they're putting a little vignettes on the side to hype
Yeah.
up the characters or hype up the fighters in this case, and hype up the event. Do you have anything to do with like the production or the creative on there too? I know you handle a lot of security, but you're the guy to talk to.
No, all I know is I got the fast line to Trap. If something pops up or I got an idea, I will send it to him. He was like, "Ooh, that's great." But what's going on behind that? He's got his whole crew of guys that's going to do the social media, to do the filming, the audio, the whole nine yards. So there's a bunch of people that's working in the industry that is now involved in making this a huge event. And yeah, it is a little bit like got that wrestling mentality because we are all some kind of character within
Yeah.
MFL. You know what I mean? So the girls you're going to be seeing there, they're going to create some characters that people are going to remember. And it's going to be
Yeah.
continuous for every event. You're going to go, oh yeah, I remember her, and I want to talk to her. So you go on Discord and say, hey, I want to talk to this and this person, and then boom, you're having a one-on-one with these people, and go, hey, how did you like the event? And it gets much more personal because anybody can reach out on Discord if you're a VIP, and you can talk to anybody within MFL at any time.
And what's incredible too here is that you are definitely giving opportunities to some women out there in the league. And I just saw like sexy buff babe. She's looks amazing, and she has like this whole personality. And then the other one that just was recently on there who had a really cool fight. I forgot who she was. Oh, there she is. Hold on, it was Miss May. Miss May. She also killed it.
Yeah.
So like these women, not only they're beautiful, but they're also showing that they're badasses in the cage.
Yeah, that's like Muscle Marilyn is there, man. So it's going to be great. She's in the gym every day training. So there's going to be something happening in the future that maybe is going to get involved some of these characters. I don't know yet, but I can imagine that Trap's going to take full advantage of it and say, hey, girls, you want to go do
Man, you need to get me
uh,
a direct line to Trav so I can talk to him and bring him on Millions.
you haven't talked to him yet?
Not yet, man. We need to make that happen.
Yeah, I'll send him a text as soon as we're done here and you can get on
Hell
with
yeah,
today.
man. Hell yeah. So let's talk about you and your book, man. You told me you got a book coming out. Talk to us about that, and where can the people go buy your book?
Well, it's on Amazon right now. I literally got the email this morning. It's been published and it's
Congratulations.
available. Thank you. And
What's the name of
it's
the book?
well, if you just write up my name, my full name Casper, and then my middle name Overaa, and then Jorgensen, and then there's gonna be a book popping up right there.
Let's see here. We're gonna pull it up right now. I wish I could share my screen on this platform. Unfortunately, I can't do it. Ah, there it is. The evolutionary disconnect, reclaiming human fitness through anatomical understanding. That sounds like a very high level, very in depth book about fitness. But did you put your own flavor on it?
Yeah, it's pretty much a book about everything that we've been doing wrong for 300 years.
Interesting.
So if you think about this, our whole fitness industry, medical industry, kinesiology, physiotherapy, and all that was based off circus strongmen, circus entertainers. That's
Hmm.
where everything started, and then there were people in the audience that would write down how they did it, and that's where the first exercises, books, and equipment got made from watching these people. So who said that this circus strongman didn't go out back and cry because he just pulled a hamstring or tore his shoulder up by doing the feat that he did? But all the audience saw was this guy doing amazing things and then thought this is the right way to do it. But at
Hmm.
the end of the day, he's an entertainer. He was a strong man that could lift big things, but that doesn't mean it was the right way. So this book is pretty much going in and saying, hey, we built our whole fitness industry, bodybuilding, medical, based on these guys in the circus. And this is where my book takes it back to, dawn of time that our blueprint, the DNA blueprint, actually dates back millions of years by the time we were on all fours. So the only reason why we got chest muscles is for standing on all fours. But we became bipedal, and the chest muscle became a tool for throwing, for hunting, to do with all these other things. But anatomically, it's not made for that because that's why everybody got shoulder injuries from bench press. That's why everybody got stretch marks. That's why everybody, you ask anybody in the gym, say, hey man, how's your shoulder? Say, hey man, I got a pinched nerve. My shoulder's
Hmm.
killing me. I just had surgery. I can't do bench press anymore. But nobody ever thought that bench pressing is anatomically incorrect for us to do. So in the
Wow.
book, there's my pattern on this bench that I created where you can actually move your shoulders instead of using your arm. So your shoulder go in and you press with the shoulder because the chest is attached to the shoulder. So now the weight stays on where it's supposed to be, like us going on all fours. It's a
Yeah.
suspension. So I created this whole system based on looking back on how we were supposed to move back in the day and then implement it into modern fitness.
How did you come up with that? Like when was that aha moment when you were like, "Whoa," because I remember in our last conversation you had mentioned that you had patented a specific bench for that specific reason because of the shoulder injuries. But when
Yeah,
did it come along in your research when the light bulb went off where you're like, "Oh shit, this and this go together."
I have no idea. I'm not a spiritual guy, but I can tell you one day I was sitting at work one day and I had a torn hamstring. I needed surgery. I need meniscus, and something just popped in my head, and my brain said, write down these inventions. So I wrote down 15 inventions on a piece of paper because if I stopped writing, I got physically sick. So it's the only way to get that sickness away. I kept writing down these pieces of equipment and I got 14, 15 of them. And after that happened, I kind of got, oh, purpose of life. And then everything went away.
I
So
love that,
so
man. It's
so
almost
that
like
was
a
it.
divine intervention.
Yes, something snapped, and now I understand exactly where we do all the mistakes and how to prevent them in the future. So I feel that's what I have to do is re-educate and say, hey man, we got to change some of these machines, the structures, because there's no reason why you should bend your elbow to do chest or bend your elbow to do back because your back is attached to your shoulder. All the major muscles attached to your shoulder. So why would you move another joint that's got nothing to do with it?
Exactly. Exactly. No, and I'm definitely a victim of shoulder injury from bench press. I mean, I know my left shoulder is shot and my right shoulder is even worse. So it's like if I would have known that a bench would exist, if that bench would have been existed 20 years ago, man, I probably would have
Yes,
never had that injury.
I know, and I'm turning 50, and I have no joint issues ever anymore. There's nothing because everything I'm doing is within my scope of how to do it, and everything runs like I'm 20 again.
Hey, that's that I need to get to that point, man. I need to get to that point where I feel like I'm 20. I'm 43. I just turned 43 and and my body is starting to feel it. It wasn't too bad, but I know I need to start doing some stuff and I need to get that bench, man. You need to send me that link.
I'm telling you, and that's my next goal. Is I'm currently working with Charles Glass. I don't know if you know the father, the godfather of bodybuilding. That trainer you see out of Gold's Gym with the beard that walks around and
Oh,
trains
yeah,
all the
yeah,
pros.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's actually actively now looking for a U.S. manufacturer that want to take over, lease the patent, and then create a new line of chest equipment based on my design to avoid shoulder injuries.
That's huge for you, Casper. Huge.
Yeah, and he just texted me now. He said he wants my book, so I sent him the link. So now he's getting it because he wants to read it. This is a guy that's been the master trainer for the last 50 or 60 years, and now he wants to learn something. He said, "I need that book." I'm like, "I got you."
Hey, if he read that, if he's gonna read that book, you know that all the other bodybuilders are probably gonna read that book too.
Yeah, in the end of the day, you have to because no matter what you do, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, you are
Insane or crazy. Yep.
exactly.
So, how long did it take you to put this book together?
Well, I've been working on the system and the concept for years. You know what I mean? To learn to actually activate every single muscle in your body individually, because that's the whole concept is let's do the math on it. If you use four muscles in one compound exercise and you have a certain amount of weight, let's say 100 pounds, and you split it up into four muscles, that's going to be a decrease on the major muscle that you want to train because all the other muscles are picking up weight at the same time. So here's the problem in modern day fitness is then you increase the weight to get resistance on the first muscle, but all the other muscles get now overworked and overstrained, and that's why there's injuries. So my concept is that you want to learn to isolate just one muscle at a time. So if I can isolate this one, this one, this one, and this one individually, so when I do a compound, now all of them are stronger and better to do that whatever lift, whatever movement you're using. Because in a compound exercise, all muscles get worked at the same time, but none of them get isolation training to actually be better because it's always picking up slack from all the other ones. And this is where there's problems when you do squat, deadlift, or whatever you're doing. There's so many muscles involved, and the
Hmm.
slightest move the wrong way, now there's a muscle that's out of commission because you just blew out your back or your hamstring got popped or whatever happened.
And people don't really think about that though either, especially if you're just like a regular gym bro and you're just getting there just to get bigger. You're not thinking about isolating the different muscles to work on to avoid injury. You're just thinking about let me get big, you know?
Exactly, because that's the concept of doing it today. But how many guys that you knew that were big 10 years ago are still big?
Very true. I mean, look
None.
at Arnold. I mean, he's
You know what I
big, but
mean?
he's not the same. That physique is not the same.
And this is also my concept of if you have a Olympian bodybuilder, he did a certain way of training. His training techniques would stay the same for his whole life. The only difference that he is doing is he doesn't take the supplements anymore, or he doesn't do the diet like he used to do. But he still do the same training exercises. But if he goes from 280 pounds to 220 pounds in 6 months because he stopped the diet and he stopped the supplements, but still doing the same training, what would it tell you that the training doesn't really matter, right? Because he's doing the same thing he did back then. He's just not as strong anymore, but he does the same techniques, same amount of reps, same amount of sets that he did when he was a pro bodybuilder. So if that system doesn't change and you remove this other part of the trilogy and you don't evolve, you just get in shape, then it doesn't really matter what his system is. That's
Hmm.
irrelevant. But if you can change the system to make it better, regardless of on your own supplements or regardless if you are doing the right diet, but you get that individually muscle isolation workout, then every muscle will get stronger by itself and not rely on all the other exercises or all the compound movements. So that's why if I do back, I pick the muscle on my back I want to train and I only train that muscle. If I change my chest, I only train my chest. If I only do the outer head of my biceps, I only do the outer head of my biceps, and so forth. I pick what muscle I want to use, and then I work only that muscle until failure. And then I move to the next one, next one, next one.
But then
So when you,
nutrition is also another part of the equation there too, because not only the physical part of it of either isolating the muscles to avoid injury. And but it also the nutrition is a huge part of it, right?
100%. You know, you got to put the right fuel in the engine, otherwise the engine won't go. That is correct. But if you don't have an engine to go, it doesn't matter what fuel you put in it. You know,
100% true, man.
so it's of course all connected 100%. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure that your diet's on point and your exercise is on point, regardless of on you on supplements or not. If those two items are on point, you will progress.
Now,
You know,
when you wrote the book and you mentioned earlier in the conversation that you went all the way back to what our ancestors were doing, and you mentioned, that the shoulders are natural suspension system. It's almost like going back to like primal living, right, or primal training, kind of like that one character, the Liver King, the guy who's always
yeah,
all about primals and all that stuff. Is that the type of approach you're starting to take into fitness and in your nutrition now? Just kind of be a little bit more
no,
ancestral or
because
more.
he went to the extreme because he's still doing basic movements that everybody else is doing. He didn't change the techniques. He still does what everybody else is doing, but he just ate liver and ate all these other things and did all these crazy workouts. But at the end of the day, there was nothing different than what he did compared to anybody else. It was just his intensity, his charisma, how to, and at the end of the day, he did not change the conventional system that we all have. It was never
Gotcha.
questioned. It was a question. I'm questioning the conventional system and say there must be a problem because if you keep doing the same thing and get injured and you do it again after you heal, then you're not right in the head.
Hmm.
So I changed it by simply redesigning the flat bench so your shoulders can sink in and you can use your chest muscles over bending your elbows because the minute your elbow go past 90 degrees, weight is like water. It drops to the lowest point of gravity. And now your shoulder presses forward to counter the weight on the elbow. And this is now where people start tearing and they try to lift it back up again. This is where all the issues are. But if your lowest point of gravity is your shoulders sinking into the bench, now the weight stays here. But if I go out here, now it flows in there. So if I'm staying here and pressing with my shoulder forward, I will use my chest. Simply, if you just do this with your shoulders forward, your chest is going to pop because it's what it's connected to. Because we are supposed to suspend, and between the ages of 0 and 1, we still crawl. That's why we
Hmm.
have them.
So how do you get the whole entire fitness industry to get out of the indoctrinated way of working out to your system?
Well, it's going to be a long process. What I do need is somebody that has a megaphone or somebody that has influence and that will learn the system and go, you know what, you're right. Why am I doing all this extra stuff, getting tired, if I can just do this one thing, be energetic, and blow that muscle out the way I want it to blow out?
Sounds like we need to get you on Joe Rogan.
That would be nice. I know he would love it because you know what I mean. You can put me next to him on a row machine and put an EMG machine on my back, and then we can measure how many muscles he used to lift the weight and how many muscles I used to lift the weight, and it will show
Oh
only
man,
who's what we're supposed to do.
that'll go viral. We're gonna make that. We
And
have to make that happen one way or another.
I
We
would
got to
love
make
to.
that
I would
happen.
love to. You know what I mean? Because I have no doctorate. I have no official education in biology or kinesiology or any of these things. But at the end of the day, I know how the body's supposed to move compared to how we've been told it's supposed to move. And by that, you will evolve. You know what I mean? I'm 50 years old and I feel like I'm 25 again.
Now, Casper, have you had the opportunity to present your work to like an academic or someone who does focus on on the human anatomy, or like a doctor or someone that way they can concur with your information and kind of give it a little bit more validity?
Well, when I went through rehab after I got my hamstring uh, put back together, I went to rehab and I talked to a physiotherapist therapist there, and I started telling him about my stuff, and he said that makes sense, but that's not what we've learned. It's counter to what they've learned, and you know what I mean. It's hard for somebody that goes by this book and then say, "Hey, man, your book is flawed because if you do it this way, it will be better." And then they're going to say, well, I can't do that because it's going to be against my certification or against my medical degree. So I need somebody that's open minded, either university. I sent an email once to UNLV, to their biology department and physiotherapist and kinesiology, and say, hey, I would like to do a lecture on these things. I never heard back from them. So, you know what I mean? If it comes out, if somebody out there says, you know what, I want to listen to it, I want to figure out what you're doing different, and maybe get something done for a book or for educational purposes, like this book I just wrote is literally for educational purposes. You will see a different way of how we do normal stuff in a new way.
And guys, you guys can pick up a copy on Amazon.com. The Evolutionary Disconnect, the Reclaiming Human Fitness Through Anatomical Understanding, written by the one and only Kasper Jorgensen. Not only just a published author, but a stuntman and a total badass.
That's right.
Kasper, my friend, thank you so much for joining us again here on Gonzalez Media TV. Guys, don't miss the live pay per view this weekend here
Friday.
on millions.co. New World Order Made Fight League. You guys can check out all the new fighters that are going to be on there. And the viewers, you guys get to decide who wins those fights if it goes to full 10 minutes. It's a great concept. Check it out. Make sure you show your support, and make sure you show your support also to Kasper Jorgensen and grab a copy of his book on Amazon, The Evolutionary Disconnect. Man, I'm so proud of you, Kasper. I'm so glad I get to know you, my friend.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk again. I'm going to get Trapped to reach out to you right now.
Yes, let's do it. I appreciate that, guy.
No problem. I got you, man. Have a good day.
You too, Kasper. Mi gente, make sure you give me that follow on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok at Jose G Official. I'll be back tomorrow with plenty of more interviews here on millions.co. You guys have a good night. You too, Kasper. Have a
Have
good
a
day,
good
bro.
week. Thank you, man.